They say power reveals who a person truly is. I learned that the night Officer Hale pulled me over. It was past midnight. The road stretched ahead like a ribbon of glass, empty except for the hum of my car and the glow of the dashboard clock. I'd been driving home from a classified briefing, my first week as the newly appointed Director of Federal Intelligence. Long hours, endless files. I was used to it. What I wasn't used to were flashing red and blue lights behind me.
Before we dive in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell, because here we tell real-life lessons through real and relatable stories.
My name is Naomi Reed. I've spent over 20 years serving this country, enforcing the law, protecting people I'll never meet. I know procedure. I know what justice is supposed to look like. But that night, I saw what it looks like when power turns into a weapon. I checked my speedometer. 65. Dead on. No swerving, no reason for a stop. Still, I pulled over. That's what you do. Cooperate. De-escalate. Stay alive. The cruiser stopped a few feet back. I waited for the officer to approach. He took his time. Too much time. When the finally opened, he stepped out. A tall white man, early 40s, square jaw, posture stiff enough to crack bone. His left hand hovered near his gun. His right swung a flashlight like a threat. I lowered my window, hands on the wheel, visible. "Good evening, officer." He didn't respond. The light stayed fixed on my face, blinding. "License and registration," he said. No greeting, no reason, just command. I kept my tone even. "May I ask why I'm being pulled over?" "License, registration." I moved slowly, deliberate. "I'm reaching for my purse," I said, narrating every motion. That's muscle memory for us, the ones who can't afford sudden moves. I took out my wallet and held up both my driver's license and my federal badge. He didn't take them. He just stared. "Federal Intelligence," he said finally, lips curling like the words tasted bad. "Yes, sir," I replied. Silence. Then, "Step out of the vehicle." It wasn't a request. My pulse steadied. "On what grounds?" He didn't answer, just took a step closer, flashlight in my eyes, hand near his gun. "Sir, you are outside of protocol," I warned. He leaned in, the edge in his voice sharp. "Lady, I don't care who you work for." That's when I understood. This wasn't a traffic stop. This was a power trip. He slammed his hand on the roof of my car, the sound cracking through the night. I looked at his name tag. D. Hale. I made a note of it. When I didn't move fast enough, another patrol car pulled up. More flashing lights. For a split second, I felt relief, backup, accountability, maybe sanity. But then, the second officer stepped out, and I saw their glance exchange. Silent, rehearsed. This wasn't help. This was reinforcement. "Step out of the vehicle, ma'am," the new one said. Not Director Reed, not even Miss Reed, just ma'am. And right then, I knew what kind of night it was going to be. I opened the door slowly, my hands visible. The air was sharp against my skin. Hale positioned himself so the dash cam couldn't see. Classic move. "You haven't told me why I'm being detained," I said. "Suspicious behavior." "What behavior?" "Refusing to comply."
It was a trap. Refuse and they escalate. Comply and you surrender control. I'd seen that script play out too many times, in reports, in footage, in funerals. He grabbed my wrist, too tight, too fast. "Get your hands off me," I snapped. The second officer stepped closer, We got a problem here? I think she's resisting, Hale said, and that was it. The line they always used, the lie that justified everything. Then he drew his gun. For a moment, everything stopped, the cold barrel leveled at my face. I had spent years negotiating with warlords, with terrorists, with men who didn't know fear. None of that compared to this, being at the mercy of someone who swore an oath to protect. And then, through the chaos, a voice cut through the dark. "Hey, I'm recording this!" It came from the shoulder of the road, a man with glasses, his phone raised, red light blinking like justice waking up. Hale hesitated, just for a second. "You sure you want to do this, officer?" the man called out. The second officer shifted uneasily. The sirens in the distance grew louder, real backup this time. "Put the weapon down," I said, my voice low but steady. Hale didn't move. Sweat slid down his temple. Then came the call over the radio. "Unit 47, status." More sirens, more lights. When the other cruisers arrived, they froze at what they saw. Me, hands up, Hale, gun drawn, and a civilian with a camera that had caught everything. Someone shouted, "Director Reed?" Recognition spread fast. Hale's hand dropped. The gun lowered. Too late. The damage was already done. "Lieutenant," I said, keeping my tone controlled, "detain these officers." Hale tried to talk, but the words died in his throat. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. I know what this was, and it's not going away. They cuffed him right there on the side of the road. Hale's face was a storm of disbelief. For men like him, accountability is a language they never expected to learn. By morning, the footage hit the news. By noon, Internal Affairs had launched an investigation. Hale was charged with assault with a deadly weapon. His partner suspended indefinitely. The department issued a statement, one of those careful PR-scrubbed apologies, but the world had already seen the truth. The man who filmed it called me that evening. "They do this all the time," he said quietly, "just not to someone like you." That line stayed with me, because he was right. This isn't rare, it's routine. And I was just the one who finally had the power and the platform to fight back. Justice doesn't begin with power. It begins with someone who refuses to stay silent. So if you're hearing this story, don't just listen. Pay attention, because silence protects the wrong side of history. And tonight, history finally spoke back. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful life lessons.